Hello, welcome to JP Arts. Today I'm going to show you a custom LEGO Sonic set of Metal Overlord, the final boss of Sonic Heroes. Though this set is actually based on the fight from Sonic x Shadow Generations in the Shadow campaign. The reason being, I don't own a Super Sonic minifigure yet, or even a normal Sonic minifigure, so I used Shadow and made the set based on Shadow Generations. The set is called Metal Overlord Battle. The main build of the set is Metal Overlord, but also comes with some small builds, including Shadow's Doom Serve, a laser fence, and a little contraption that allows Shadow to launch projectiles at Metal Overlord. We'll start by looking at the Metal Overlord build, and we will briefly look over the smaller builds later. As with every build I make, I try my best to make it look as much like an actual LEGO set as I can. With this build, I think it turned out pretty good, though there are some things LEGO would definitely do differently. One of the most obvious ones that stand out being his weak points, which there are some really good pieces I would have used for these, but I don't currently own any. I originally had a lot more detail on this build, but looked rather ugly and was very unstable. I simplified it to make it look a lot more like a LEGO playset, and for it to be a lot less breakable. The biggest thing I changed were the wings, which had way too many pieces on them and were just way too heavy for these joint pieces, so they just kept falling down. Now they can be posed as a side without worrying about them breaking. I might make a video showing how to build him if enough people would want to see that, but for now I'm going to take him apart into each section just to show a bit how I made him. Here is Metal Overlord's lower body section. As you can see, I included all three of the yellow circles with the green in the center, which act as his weak points in Shadow Generations. As I said before, there are definitely better ways these could be built, the best in my opinion being these pieces shown in the top left corner. I don't own any of these, but if I did, I would definitely replace my current build for the weak points with these pieces. Also, you can see I only made 3 of the spikes on the lower part of his body, rather than the many he has in the game. As you will see later, I did the same with the spikes on the top half of his body as well. This is mainly because of the lack of pieces, but also to keep the build simple and not look cluttered. Here is the stand for Metal Overlord, a rather simple build, but keeps him standing really well. These are the wings. They attach to the axles coming from the lower body. As I said before, the wings were way too large previously, but are now smaller and much more stable, making them easy to play around with without breaking. This is the tail. This is honestly my least favorite part of the build. Doesn't look awful, but I didn't have the pieces I wanted to make it better, especially with the joints. You can see here I used a mix of the ball joints and hinges, though I would have rather had them all be the ball joints, but I'm running low on those pieces because I use them in a lot of builds. Here is the upper body. It's pretty small with not much to touch upon, but I like how it looks. There are ball joints for the arms to attach to, and one to attach to the lower body. This is Metal Overlord's left arm. This is his arm with the hand on it, as where the other one has the claw. I'm really happy with how the hand looks, and I think these light gray spike pieces for the claws work really well. This is his right arm. This one has the large claw on it. I took inspiration from the LEGO crab meat from Wave 1 of Sonic sets to make this claw, and I think it looks pretty good. Here is his head. This was one of the hardest parts to make, as I need to get his head shape right, and I can say I'm really happy with the result. Also, you can see I used some custom face prints I drew and printed out myself, and I think they complete the head really nicely. Lastly, here are the wires sticking out from the bottom of Metal Overlord. As you can see, I only made 2, and that is simply because I did not have enough pieces. Also, these are definitely not LEGO set worthy, as the technique I use is probably something LEGO wouldn't do. I'm sure they would more likely use 4 of these pieces, which I would have done as well if I had them. Now I'll go over the side builds included in the set. First is one of Shadow's new abilities, Doom Surf, which he uses during the fight against Metal Overlord. The build is simple but looks relatively like its source material. I didn't have the pieces to make it larger and more accurate, so I settled for this. Next, here's a small build of one of the laser fences Shadow must jump over while chasing down Metal Overlord. Last, here's a small contraption that allows Shadow to launch his canister at Metal Overlord. It's meant to represent the way Shadow launches rubble at the boss during the fight. And I also noticed some of the rubble looks like some sort of canisters, so I made one of those for him to launch. Also, this pretty much acts as the only play feature in the set. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments what you think about it. And consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want to see more videos like this.